I spent some time watching a series of YouTube videos about negotiation, including 5 standout videos. From Tim Ferriss on how to negotiate or the art of deal-making, to a former FBI agent explaining how to negotiate, to an in-depth explanation from the Harvard Negotiation Project on negotiation, to FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, author of the famous book Never Split the Difference, on how to win a negotiation, or even tips on negotiating a raise like a pro. After watching them, I learned a few new things about negotiation, its essence, its role in every corner of our daily lives, and how it manifests in different environments. Take the family, for example. Picture a scenario where you're vying with your younger sister over the TV to watch a basketball game. Or at work, when you're negotiating your salary with a company, trying to secure benefits beyond just monetary compensation. Even in relationships, like when you're explaining a suspicious text from another girl to your girlfriend. These scenarios highlight what negotiation truly is. The process of trying to gain something from the person across the table, while also defending your ground against their advances to protect your own interests. Now, let's get one thing straight. Negotiation isn't about crushing the other person into submission. It's not a zero-sum game where one person wins and the other loses. As those brilliant minds at the Harvard Negotiation Project point out, if you're asking who is winning, you've already lost. Seriously, drop the win-at-all-costs mentality. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone involved. Think of it like a beautiful duet. Both voices need to harmonize to create something amazing. Okay, now that we've covered the fluffy philosophical stuff, let's get down to the brass tacks of negotiation tactics. I like to think of these as the tools in your negotiation belt, ready to be deployed when the situation calls for it. 1. The sneaky start, let them go first. One of the first and most useful weapons in your arsenal is getting the other party to put their offer on the table. As Tim Ferriss suggests, position yourself as the newbie.
You know more about this than I do. You've done this 100 times. This is my first rodeo.
This subtle manipulation often leads to them revealing their hand first. Let them throw out their number, and then you can work your magic. It's like a poker game. You don't want to show your cards first. 2. The dramatic pause. The flinch and silence. Once they've given their opening offer, that's where the flinch comes into play. Now, I'm not saying throw yourself backwards off your chair. A simple eyebrow raise, a slight intake of breath, and a pause will do wonders. That's a bit higher than I expected, you might say. And then, wait. As Ferriss emphasizes, if you can develop the ability to sit in silence, you will have a tremendous advantage in negotiating. People get uncomfortable with silence. It often pushes them to backpedal or offer something more, and in the long run, patience is your secret weapon. After the pause, go for the next question. Is that the best you can do? And then, wait again. Become the master of the pregnant pause. Let it hang in the air like a disco ball. You'd be surprised at how often silence leads to concessions. 3. The interest explorer, unearthing hidden desires. Okay, so you've got them talking. Now let's move on to the heart of the matter. Instead of focusing on their position, what they say they want, dig deeper and find out their underlying interests, why they want it. Are they driven by fear of loss? Do they have a quota to meet? Do they want to build brand recognition? Maybe they'd prefer a statue than top dollar? To illustrate this, let's think about the classic example. 2 kids fighting over an orange. Let's say they both shout, "I want the orange." That's their position. If you simply cut the orange in half, both kids get 50%, but neither is fully satisfied. However, if you ask why, you might discover that one kid wants the juice to drink, while the other wants the peel to bake a cake. Now, suddenly, it's not about splitting the orange in half, but providing each child with 100% of what they actually want. The same logic applies to negotiation. This is what it's all about. Ask why questions. Try to see things from their point of view. As the Harvard experts point out, people listen better if they feel understood. Start with them, and then you can start introducing your own position. 4. The fairness factor, using fair standards. Sometimes you still hit a stalemate, even after the pauses and the why questions. This is when you need to introduce fair standards. Use objective criteria, such as market prices, legal requirements, expert opinions, or anything that you both agree is unbiased. For example, imagine 2 kids arguing over the TV remote. One wants to watch a basketball game, while the other wants to watch a cartoon. To settle the dispute, they could turn to a fair standard, like a schedule for TV time that their parents have set, or they could agree to use a timer. 30 minutes for the basketball game, followed by 30 minutes of cartoons. It takes the personal bias out of the argument and turns it into a shared effort to be fair. It's like saying, let's use this rule so we can both get a turn. 5. The brainstorming bonanza. 2 heads are better than 1. Let's get creative. If you feel stuck, gather with the other side and start brainstorming. Just toss out ideas, no matter how silly they may seem. As those smart cookies at Harvard advise, Create a casual atmosphere, define a purpose, and generate a ton of options. After you've got a list, you can refine and polish the best ideas. Remember, differences aren't always problems. Sometimes they can be the key to finding an innovative solution. As the orange example reminds us, different needs can lead to creative resolutions. Always remember that you're dealing with human beings, with their quirks, egos, and emotions. As they say, soft on the person, hard on the problem. Be friendly, be respectful, and pay attention to their feelings. Build a relationship if you can. It makes a big difference. Get to know their likes and dislikes. It's like building a bridge of understanding that makes the negotiation process way less stressful and way more productive. 6. The jujitsu maneuver, turning dirty tactics into opportunities. Okay, sometimes you encounter someone who just doesn't play by the rules. They might use dirty tactics, try to bully you, or even attack you personally. Don't get dragged into the muck. Use negotiation jujitsu. It's about using their negative energy against them. Call it out. If they use a tactic, point it out calmly. It seems like you're playing good cop/bad cop. This often neutralizes the tactic immediately. Refocus on the problem. Instead of personal attacks, steer the conversation back to the issue at hand. Turn the personal into the logical, like I am getting distracted by the sun rather than you put me facing the sun on purpose. Embrace your BATNA. Remember your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. It's your escape hatch. Always develop a strong BATNA before negotiating. Having options and being able to walk away gives you real power. Chris Voss, the former FBI hostage negotiator, brings tactical empathy to the table. Understand their emotions. Every decision he suggests is based on our passions and emotions, and it is important to tap into this first before trying to reach a solution. A key technique of his is labeling. Put a label on their feelings. It sounds like you're frustrated. It seems like you're worried about this. This acknowledges their feelings and can make them feel heard and understood. Final word, be yourself and keep learning. Negotiation is a blend of strategy, understanding, and empathy. It's about being prepared, listening intently, being adaptable, and yes, having the guts to sit in silence. It is not about manipulating people, but instead about creating situations where everyone benefits. It is a learning curve, and you'll get better with every attempt. So go forth and negotiate with confidence, creativity, and a healthy dose of humor. Just remember, it's not about winning. It's about finding solutions where everyone feels good. And most importantly, remember to be yourself, because the most successful negotiations are the ones where authentic connections are forged.